Hi guys, it's Tom here, Man City Fan TV. Hope everybody's well. This is me answering the questions from you guys. It's my debut show. I've been planning it. I've been looking forward to it. We've eventually got around to starting it, and we're here and we're going. So hope everybody's doing well. It's been very snowy in and around where I've been today. So yeah, we're just gonna get into some of your comments now. Charlie Everett. Good evening, Tom. Hope you're well. Yeah. Yorkshire's very wet, cold, and snowy today. I must say, it's been a very odd day. The snow's been very heavy. Adam Quinn. Hi, Tom. Hope you're well, Adam. Sean's on. Hi, Tom. Hope you're well. What are your thoughts and performance last night? I thought we played okay. I didn't really think we played too well, but we just needed what we needed to do, and I thought, it was just a professional performance, and we just got the goal. And they're the sort of performances you need as champions. Kurt's on. Hope you're well, mate. Another addition to the presenting team. I think you're going to do a fantastic job, Tom. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kurt. You're a good lad. I appreciate that. Big Morgan's on. I'm Big Morgan. Good luck, Tom. Thank you. What else we got here? With a big jump in the comments. Jack Lee's on. Good luck, Tom. Thank you, Jack. Andy just put this in earlier. So I have got a lot of comments from and questions from the community tab. If I don't get through all your comments, I apologise, but I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. I've got about an hour or so we're going to try and get through as many as you can. I've got the questions that the guys have asked me over the day, and I'll get through as many as I can in the comments too. Mervyn Thomas, good luck, Tom. Smash it, mate. Thank you. I appreciate all your support. I'm not going to be able to get through all of them, unfortunately. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Let's get into it. So we've got some questions. So Michael Fiene asked me, do you think we need a centre forward or can we wait until the summer? See, for me, I really do think we could probably wait till the summer. And obviously we've got quite a lot of problems at the moment with, injuries and things like that. I really do think that we can push forward. Obviously, Serge is not injured at the moment. He's obviously self-isolating, but I really do think that we should wait till the summer to get the striker that we need, because Haaland, obviously, we're linked with Haaland, and that is the sort of the main man we really sort of want. We look at other players out there. Do we really want to be getting someone who's going to come in for a few seasons and then go? We want to look for permanent, a permanent striker. Haaland would do that. We want another Sergio. Not like Serge, because you can't get another Serge in that aspect, but somebody who can give us years, which is what we really do need. So yeah, thank you for your one of your first questions, that Michael. We've got a few from you, so I'll try and get through them. Ryan Corey, he says, what was the score the last time you played Ryan on FIFA, and why is Martin hiding from the challenge? Now, to be honest, I can't remember what the score was. I think it was something like 4-2 to you, Ryan, but you didn't give me really a chance. You did not give me a chance. So I didn't really have a good team either. And Martin's busy with the Man City career mode at the moment, so he's busy. So that's, what it's about. Go back to some of your comments. So yeah, thank you for your comment, Ryan. I appreciate that, mate. I hope you're well. Sergio is streaming right now on Twitch. So there you go. Me and Serge. I wonder who'll get the most views. It's probably going to be Serge, but we've got 41 on at the moment, so I think it's okay. Alfie Dowden, good mate of mine. What are your opinions on Aguero getting linked with Barcelona? Well, with that, it's one of them. Serge is getting linked with a lot of clubs. Pochettino is wanting him at PSG and things like that. So we can see what will happen with that. I hope he stays, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Who else we got on? Who's coming on? Pardo Oaks is on. Hope you're well, mate. Good luck. Thank you. Who else we got? Bradley Block says this 360 years. Yes, yeah. So yeah, I got that flag made in the summer, it was supposed to be going around the country with me, but unfortunately, it's not going around the country with me at the moment because we're obviously not allowed to go into ground. So that's the only disappointing part. But yeah, that's where we sit in the South Stand 316 with all the lads. We moved from the East Stand to the South Stand when it was built. And yeah, it's a great little bit of atmosphere up there with all the lads next to the away fans. So yeah, back into the questions from the community. Michael says again, when did I start supporting Man City? He knew that my dad was a big blue, and what was the main reason I'd been a Manchester City supporter? So for me, I became a junior blue, which is obviously the junior citizens now, within an hour of me being born in 2003. I was in the programme for the Grockling game at home. Very odd, I know, but yeah, that was in the UEFA Cup, first leg, round 2. And yeah, my first game was a 2-1 win against Portsmouth in the 5 and 6 season with Stuart Pearce. Let's just say that was probably one of the highlights of that season because we only scored 43 goals all season and 13 wins or something like that. So I have seen some rubbish because, we didn't do well. So yeah, I've seen some rubbish before it all came good. Let's just say that, eh? But yeah, I love the club, it's a brilliant club. I couldn't imagine supporting anybody else. We have all of these guys on here who are supporting us, and then there's you guys supporting me, and we're the best sort of fans. City fans are the greatest, and yeah, I'm so glad I'm part of a community with great people. Jack Coates, one of my good mates, he says, "What is the most realistic successful season as a Man City supporter?" For me, I'd like to see us win a trophy. It's understandable that success is quite demanding as a club of our stature at the moment. Obviously, seeing stuff in the past is a little bit dodgy. So I accept every single trophy that we sort of win. It's one of those. But a win is a win, and a bit of silverware is silverware. So we can take any of that, to be honest, because it's City, and if we can get a trophy, I'd see that as a successful season. Some people would say the Premier League is, the start of a successful season, and anything else is also as good. But for me, a bit of silverware is all I'm bothered about. Let's get back into your comments. Who we got on? Hit the like button for yeah. Thank you, Kurt. Yeah, please hit the like button, guys. It'll mean a lot to me. Yeah. Charlie says Aguero doesn't speak a word of English on the stream. Well, a lot of people would probably say York shouldn't speak in English. So, that's me and Serge in the same boat. See, there you go. Chris already was on that bandwagon. Nor do I. That's absolutely correct. Noah says, congrats on becoming a YouTube channel. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate that. It's my first time. I've always wanted to sort of get involved with it. Obviously, the nerves have always been a little bit, but we've braved the nerves and we're excited and we're getting on with it. So yeah, it's all good. See, one up, you well. It's just my glasses are lovely. Thank you very much. I try my best to look all right. The flat cap is usually the thing that a lot of people do say, but Shanu YouTube says Cancelo or Walker. Cancelo, based on the fact that I love him, so the answer to that one, guys. Here we go. One of my good friends, Luke, who sits near me in the south stand. Smash it, Tom. Good luck, mate. Thank you, Luke. Hope you're well and keeping safe, you and the family. Pardo says, I'm true blue. I certainly am. I wouldn't like to support any other team. So, Oh, Martin's on. Hope you're well, mate. Sergio speaks English. He plays a clever game with the media. Yeah, a lot of players do that. And I bet Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds probably speaks more Yorkshire than I do, but he acts like he doesn't speak to anybody. But yeah, we'll get back into some of the comments. Questions. We've got Ollie Gumry. He's the captain of my football team. Hope you're well, mate. Do you think Jesus has the quality and potential to replace Aguero? And if not, who would you have in place of him? It's one of them with Gabby. We've had that debate over the channel over the past few months. Maybe is he more of a winger? He came on last night and played more on the left side than up top. And it's one of them you sort of look at. Is he more of a winger? Is he more of a defensive sort of minded attacker like Roberto Firmino? Or is he sort of that out and out striker? At the moment, I don't see him being the out and out striker that we're wanting to replace Aguero with. It's one of them. It's a tough one because, I like Gabby. He's a great guy. He did really well when he first came in, but he got that Achilles injury down at Bournemouth when he first came. And ever since then, he's sort of not looked up to that top standard like he actually has been trying to do for ages. But yeah, with that, I'd probably, like I said earlier, Haaland is the man that I'd like to see personally in. I do believe that, You know, you look at any other players out there. There's not many players that are as good as him up there. So yeah, I'd like to see Haaland in, and Jesus as a backup striker, or maybe playing as a winger is probably a good way to go with him, because I can't see him being the true replacement for Aguero at the moment. Who knows? He might get the run of form when he's not got injuries, and he might come, but we need to look in the future, and do we actually have that goal scoring man to replace Serge? Because at the moment, I personally don't think we don't. So yeah, thank you for the comment, Ollie. I appreciate that. I hope you and your family are well. Martin says, hanging up my microphone. Sorry, guys, I'm too old for this YouTube. Martin, I still need you to do it. I'm learning off you guys, so I need you to carry on. I need to take notes. I'll be like Pep with his notebook, trying to find ways to sort of, get better. Who else we got in the comments? Scott Williams says, Tom, Walk on the right and Cancelo on the left against Palace. Yes, I personally do think that. I think we got a comment later on about left backs, so I'll discuss that a little bit more. But yeah, I really do think Walker on the right and Cancelo on the left is the way to go at the moment, because you look at who's in form. Obviously, Walker went out because of COVID, but Cancelo came in and played really well. It's not me being biased at all. You know what it's like. I love Joao, but I also like Walker too. So at the moment, they're the two strongest out and out fullbacks that we've got. Personally, there's a debate that maybe Cancelo can't defend as well as Walker, but Cancelo brings that attacking threat as well. They link off each other, so it'd be nice to see him playing again with each other, because it has been a while. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, Pardo says, just going back to the Jesus not since he got COVID, he's put on a few pounds. Yeah, I do think that, and a lot of players have been doing, they've come back from a lockdown, they've obviously, a few of them had COVID, and, sometimes the only way they can recover is by obviously, resting and making sure if they can't do any exercise. An athlete like Gabriel Jesus, who's supposed to train every day, would probably, in the end, get, put on a bit of timber. I can't talk because, to be fair, over lockdown, I did lose 2 stones. So, to be fair, I'm okay. Who else have we got in the comments? Sean Fogarty says, would you sell Zinchenko or keep him as a squad player? Well, for me, if you asked Martin this, it'd probably be a different answer. But for me, Zinchenko, if we can get it, I believe that he'd be a good squad player, It's one of them, really, He's a good player, but is he up to the standards that we're wanting? I could see him as being a squad player, because he comes in and does a decent job. He's come in against Chelsea and obviously last night, and they've only conceded 1 goal whilst he's been in. So we could see what happens with that. But if we can get in another left back or something like that, then I wouldn't see him sort of staying in and being in the club. I reckon he'd probably move on to get game time, because game time for players is very important, especially at an age like Zinchenko, with a lot of potential. And he plays for Ukraine first team too. Let's have a look at the comments. Jack Lee says, would you sign anybody in the January transfer window? For me, January transfer window is a little bit odd. It's midway through the season. It's really there for anybody over Christmas who's probably injured or something like that. As it's one of them, and especially with how the season started later. The January transfer window's come quite early. For us personally, we've only it's the striker situation that I'd probably be the most concerning. But the defence, I don't see us needing anybody really and wasting the money. We might as well save it, analyse what happens over the rest of the season, and then sort of work from there, because we don't need to be bringing in anybody, we don't need to be bringing in anybody necessarily or urgently, because we've got a solid defence. The midfield's working very well. It's just been that striking role where we've had no Jesus for a bit, no Serge, but hopefully after Serge comes back from his isolation, we have the 2 strikers and we can carry on and hopefully get some more goals, because that's the sort of place that we've been struggling this season. We sort of worked on the defensive side and got that spot on, only conceded 1 in the last 8, and then on the striking side, goal side, we've not scored many, and we can't score penalties either at the moment either. So we'll see what happens with that. But personally, I don't think we need anybody in January, because you need to look forward to the summer, and I think the summer is where the big signings will come in. And Chris Baker says the FNS tomorrow with a couple of newbies. There you go. Who knows who will be on there? Hopefully there's some new guests. So let's see what happens there. So make sure you tune into that, guys. Who we got here? We got Joe Elliott. Good luck, Tom, my mate. Thank you, Joe. He sits next to me at the Etihad. So he will definitely probably have funny stories to tell about me, talking to the referees and the players. He definitely will have some funny stories. And his question to me is, should Sergio and Fernandinho be given another year's extension on their contracts? Yes. You know, the thing is with those two, they're world-class players. They're absolutely brilliant. They've done so much for the club. Aguero's obviously, the Aguero goal and just been a solid striker. And then you've got Fernandinho, who's been the catalyst of that defensive midfield for over 6 years now. And it's just shown how much, and they deserve it, if anything, just out of gratitude. And, there was the debate of, are we just signing these guys on for an extra year because of the loyalty? But not necessarily. They're both players. When Sergio's fit also, but especially Fernandinho, he can come in and play like as well as half the players in the Premier League, and he's obviously a bit older now. And I do believe that we could get him in for another year. There's obviously a little bit of debate on whether Dino's going to stay or not. There's not been much clarity on that at the moment, so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens with that. But yeah, I'd like to see them both get a contract extension because they deserve it. And I really do think that, they deserve it with the class and the loyalty that they've shown to the club throughout. The change of managers. Well, Serge has seen 3 managers at the club and he's kept at the same level. So yeah, I'd like to see him for another year. It'd be nice. And who knows, if we do keep Serge, then fingers crossed we might be able to get Haaland in or somebody like that in the summer. And then that's when we can capitalise and maybe Serge can teach him a few things. So yeah, fingers crossed. Back to the comments. Thanks for that, Joe. Appreciate that. Bradley Block, he says, do you want Joe Hart on loan from Tottenham? And how do you think Stefan has done this season when he's played? For me, I do think that Joey, as much as I love him, isn't needed back at the club at the moment. I know a lot of people have taken the rant against Leon back in the summer as a funny highlight of mine on mcfcfantv, and I did say that Joe Hart is better than Edison. Maybe I was slightly angry that we just lost, but Joey's doing well. I'll always miss Joe. He was always a really, really good player for us, and he's doing well at Spurs. We don't really need him. As for Zach, I really think that he's done really well since he's come in. You have to look at the games that he's come in to play. He came in against Chelsea down at Stamford Bridge, a very, very tough game. Obviously, he had that little bit of a blip in the first 10 minutes with that pass back incident. But apart from that, he's played very, very well. Obviously, me and Andy discussed the other night in the preview that his handling's been a little bit off. But his technical abilities, like I was talking about, has been very good. He's passing out from the back. It's one of them. We look at, other keepers in the league, and you look at the fact that we've got 2 outstanding players, keepers. Edison's great, one of the best in the world, and Stefan's another very good player. I remember, obviously, being a Fortuna Dusseldorf fan from Germany. Well, not as much as obviously I like watching them because of good German football. Zach was there last season, and you could see that he was a good player. And I wasn't surprised when they said, oh yeah, Zach's coming back and he's going to obviously be here as the second choice keeper, because he has that technical ability to push for number 1. And even Pep said in a press conference, I think last week, that, he is pushing for number 1. And too right he should, because he's a very, very good player. I think he's around 26 now. Obviously, he's getting a bit old, but, well, not when I say old. Everybody thinks he's quite young, but he's obviously quite experienced. He's USA's number 1, got lots of caps for USA. So, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm really impressed with Zach. And, like I say, you look at other teams, like we're going to compare Liverpool here. They have Alisson, but they have Alisson, and then they have Adrian. Adrian compared to Zach Steffen is far worse. And I imagine the majority of fans in the Premier League would say if you could have the class of Zach Steffen as your second keeper, a lot of the people near the bottom, would probably say maybe we'd have him as the first keeper. Look at Dean Henderson. He was at Sheffield United last season, was pulling the ropes for them, pulling the strings, and then he's come back and he's doing okay for United too. And probably they're the only other side I'd probably say, and Spurs, who have got 2 good keepers who can probably come in and do a decent job, if not the same level. You've got David De Gea and Dean Henderson, and then you've got Lloris and Joe Hart. We'd see what happens. Let's have a look at your comments before I move on. Thank you for that question. I appreciate it. Dan says, hope you're well, mate. Out of all the city teams, which do you think was the strongest? Also, keep it up, lad. Thank you, mate. The strongest, right. I presume you mean of the seasons. I'd probably say it was the Centurion season. We had all the lads. We had Yaya Toure there. We had Vinny. We had David Silva. We had Kevin on form. We had Sergio on form. We had all these players. Leroy Sané. We had all these players come in and stay. We had some of the legends and these new players that were coming in. The likes of Bernardo had just come in. Kyle Walker had just come in the season before. And we've had all these players that came in, and it was just the pinnacle moment of we've got a team here and we can go far. That was the best City team I've seen personally since we've had we've had Mancini. He had a very good team as well. Pellegrini sort of had a bit of Mancini's team, and then sort of that was about it. But yeah, it has to be that 17-18 season with the Centurions. I think it was absolutely brilliant. And the 100 points is unreal. Yeah. Like Leonard says here, that 100 points is something to be proud of. 100%. It's not going to be beaten anytime soon. To get 100 points over that season was just unreal. And I was very happy with that and absolutely over the moon that we'd got 100 points just. And in the end, we left it to the last minute, but that's what we do. We like leaving, achievements to the last minute, as seen in many different games over City's career, City's time at the top. So yeah, thank you for that question, Dan. Appreciate that, mate. Jeffrey Look Drink Free says, do you think we need to start looking for a new CDM because next season we can't rely on Rodri all season? For me, I love Rodri. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a good player. I think he's very, very good. He's got the most passes in the Premier League. And overall, I think he's doing okay. Obviously, like I mentioned the other week, he's playing more good games than not good games now. And that's what we want. That's what we want to see. Last season, you'd probably say, he's had 3 or 4 average games and then 1 or 2 good games, whereas now it's 3 or 4 good games and maybe 1 average game. But that's only because of how many games he's playing. He's played the majority of the minutes this season. Fernandinho's just come back in, but he was injured for a while, so he was relied on a lot. And you can tell the difference when he's playing because we look a bit more solid. But I can understand your argument that maybe he's not the complete CDM, but I personally think he's a very good CDM. In my opinion, I don't think we need to look for anybody else. I think there's other players out there, other positions out there in the City side that need improving more than Rodri, personally, because I think he's a good player, and I really do think that he's going to settle in there very well. He's learning off Fernandinho. You have to remember, last season he didn't really get a full season in CDM. He was obviously asked for a lot in centre back because we had a defensive nightmare. But luckily now we've strengthened that up. He's playing just in front of one of the best centre back pairing partnerships in Europe at the moment, and that is going to help him. And you can see it's helped him because when you've got somebody like Diaz and Stones communicating in front of it, behind him, you can see it, and that is what you want. And I'm impressed with Rodri this season. I do think he's one of the good players of this season, 100%. So yeah, thank you for that question. Let's have a look. Jeffrey Look Drink Free again. He says, do you think we need to start looking for a left back, or is Zinchenko good? Yeah, we do need to start looking for a new left back. I wouldn't necessarily think it's urgent because we look at we look at Cancelo. He can play there. I believe that Cancelo is the man probably to stay there for the rest of the season if Walker's obviously on form as well, because you can rely on those 2 guys to put in a good performance this season. And like I've always said, if you're on form, you need to stay in the squad, because if you get taken out of the squad, that's where problems might occur. And that's why you see Diaz and Stones playing the majority of the games this season, because they've been in form together. And that's what you want. You want a squad of players that can link up together and know how they're going to play. And you look at other teams in the world. That is why they play so good, because they're playing week in, week out together. And that is the problem. The majority of the time, that has been the problem with us. We've changed it around too much, and that is why it's not been as good. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's urgent to get another left back in, but it's advised to. Probably so Cancelo, can probably not also play there all the time because he's not a left back in the grand scheme of things. So maybe looking for a left back is also vital because, you want to you want to have someone who's left-footed and can play there. But, don't rule out Benjamin Mendy yet. I know we've been saying it a long time, but I reckon that'll probably, once he gets obviously out of the club, I reckon that's when they'll start looking for him, because I believe that they've got some good players in Nathan Ake, if he's fit, who could play there as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you for your questions, Jeffrey. I appreciate them. Ghost E Grade says, who is your non-City player, your favourite non-City player of all time? Oof, that is a good question. For me, it is Carlos Puyol. Absolutely incredible player. Barcelona's talisman for several years. You just have to look at the stats. I think I wrote a few stats down here. 392 appearances and, over 150 wins. Way over 150 wins, just over 200 actually. And that's what you want from a player. He was a talisman. I was lucky enough to watch him when he played against City a few times, and he was a very, very, very good player. To lead a side like Barcelona for many, many years, over 15 years. I believe that he's a very, very good player, and that's why I believe that he is the man. That in my eyes is a true captain and a true centre back. You could only sort of look maybe, you have to look at Vinny, John Terry. These are the sort of guys that you sort of can compare to Carlos Puyol, because Carlos Puyol was one of the best centre-backs in the world. Let's go to comments. So, yeah, I appreciate that, Ghost Downgrade, D-Grade. Thank you for that, mate. Appreciate that comment. Kurt says, Totti for me. I love Totti. A lot of people love Totti. I agree. He's a very, very good player. Chris says we all love Totti. We definitely do. Smash the like. Thank you, Ghost D Grades. I appreciate your comment just then as well. Very good of you. So yeah, we'll just get back into the comments. Let's have a look. The comments. I go. Luke Schofield. Here he is. What did you think of Sterling's penalty yesterday? Who do you think should be taking penalties? That is a very, very good question. Penalties has been a very odd topic for City fans at the moment. We have to look at who can take one. Kevin obviously was our penalty taker, and then suddenly he's not taking them now. Obviously, after that Liverpool miss is obviously where it's gone wrong for him there. And then Sterling's come in and he's decided to obviously try, and then obviously missed it yesterday and absolutely skied it over the bar. So I can't really. It's a good question. There's not many players. I'd probably say, if anybody, Gundogan. Everybody says there was always that Germans are always good at penalties, but I really do think Gundogan is the man to take him. He's calm under the ball, he can slot it in, and yeah, I do believe that probably if we have to look at somebody who could probably slot it in and who's in good form at the moment, probably Gundogan. I'd like to see take the next one and see what happens with that. But yeah, penalties aren't really seemed to be our sort of strong point at the moment. We're very poor at them. It's just one of them. Well, I hope it's Gundogan, but who knows? Who knows what penalties are going to be like? Because 1 minute it's one person, 1 minute it's the next, and we still can't score at least two consecutively. So we'll see what happens with that. Scott Williams says, no mention of Ramos, Tom. Yes, very good point, Scott. Yeah. I also admire Sergio Ramos. I think he's a very good player. Just slipped my mind there, actually. But yeah, he's a very, very good player. Absolutely brilliant. Chris says, going back to the fig, Sterling wouldn't have taken it if it was 0-0. Very true. I do believe that. Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. You have to look at the situation. It was in the dying minutes. It was just one of them penalties. He seemed like he just wanted to smash it in, and then that'd be it. But yeah, who knows what the situation was? Maybe he slipped or whatever. City Chippy, also known as my dad. Edison for penalties. You know what? I'd like to see that. I'd love to see Edison take a penalty, because, that's what we want. We want somebody who could probably take penalties. He says he's the best penalty taker in the club, so who knows about it? Who knows? Let's see. Jack Lee says, Balotelli was a good pen taker. Yes, he was. He was a good penalty taker. I remember when he took that calm and composed one, and then he crossed his arms at Tim Krul. It was one of the best things I've seen. That Balotelli was the man. And also, Yaya Toure, for me personally, he was the man. He didn't miss a penalty for us, and it just showed. You could always rely on Yaya to take penalties, and maybe this has come up. Well, it has occurred since Yaya's left, because he was always the man to take the penalties, and that's probably where it sort of gone downhill from there. Really, we've seen we've sort of gone downhill from there. But yeah, we'll see what happens with it. But hopefully, we can sort of get someone now who we can sort of establish as the penalty taker and the main man to do so, because that's what you want. You want somebody who we can rely on if we need him in the dying minutes to get the penalty and get the goal, if whether it's for a point or the 3 points. You know, we need it in a big moment. We need somebody to rely on, like we did with Yaya. You know, that's what we want to do. But Ghost D-Grade says, but they should be professional. Please don't allow Raz to take that spot kick. Oh, it wasn't a very good spot kick, was it? It was very, very poor. You know, you have to look at it. You know, he's a professional and he smashed it over the bar, but we'll see. We'll see. Messi is still going to be paid 170 by Barca until 25 under contract. Will this make his signing for City this summer easier on the finances? Who knows? It's one of them with Messi. You know, he's going to be paid 170 by Barca until it's a lot of money to speak about. You know, for City, it's a signing that we should really be going for if we want to, you know, like we were talking about financial wise, you know, he does make the finances for us easy. You know, he turns over a lot of money with his sponsorships and the fact that he's probably one of the best players in the world. So I'd like to see that. And I do think that it probably will be easier, bearing in mind he's still going to be paid, you know, under this contract. So yeah, but I'm not going to go into the Messi debate because, you know, it's the Q&A. Messi always gets brought in. But to be fair, as Chris says, oh God, not Messi. No, Messi, I'd love to see him, but maybe he can be the maybe he's the saviour of the penalties. Who knows? Yeah, so let's take a quick drink. Right, then let's get into the next comment. Charlie Everett, if you could get Haaland, but then had to exchange an attacking player at City for him, who would it be? Very good question. For me, it would be Riyad Mahrez. Personally, he's out of the attacking players. I would have to say he'd be the one to go for me. You look at everybody there. I wouldn't sell Aguero. I don't think he'd be worth much. If we had to exchange Mahrez, because I wouldn't sell Sterling either. Mahrez, based on how good he is of a player, you know, he's doing pretty well for us this season with the goals. I'd probably say, you know, let's get rid of Mahrez because he's probably, with Sterling, probably the biggest price tag of those attacking forwards. So I'd probably like to see Mahrez go if we had to exchange. You know, we'd just like to see what happens. Here we go. Here we go. What's Chris? Oh God, not Lucy. Stop talking, Tom. Oh, I'm not that. I'm ignoring them comments. I'm ignoring it because she's just coming out to wind me up, probably. Leonard says, Haaland here in City United would be tempted. KDB and Messi behind Haaland, game over. Leonard, it would be, wouldn't it? How good would that be? It'd be absolutely brilliant. I'd love to see that. You know, that's what we'd love to see. Those guys there, it'd be dreamland. You know, if that's, you know, one of the last games Messi, one of the last teams Messi plays for, and we've got him. You know, that is a great thing to see. We're nearly at the end of the comments now. We're back into Michael Feeney. He said, was the best player you have, best non-City player in the Premier League. His was Frank Zola for Chelsea. Thank you for the comment. Spill the beans on Thomas. Oh, here we go. This will be funny. But yeah, somebody has to bloody put me off when I'm trying to concentrate. Always. But yeah, we'll carry on. Hello, Man City Fan TV. Hi, Lucy. Hope you're all right. Coming on to get me all flustered. What you like, eh? Anyway, yeah. So back to that. For me, Thierry Henry is that. Thierry Henry is the man who's played in the Premier League and not a City player who I admired the most. You know, he's absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I think, you know, the stats, I wrote a few stats down earlier. You know, the fact that he got 174 goals and 254 appearances, you know, it's unreal, really. You know, you have to look at a player who, you know, led Arsenal to that, you know, the invincible season, you know, with Arsene Wenger. Unreal, you know, not losing a game all season, you know, partly down to him and all his goal scoring, you know, all his goals that he scored. Yeah, so yeah, for me, it's Thierry Henry. I think he was very, very good. Scott Williams, ignore your girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend. She's already got a boyfriend, so it's definitely not me. Charlie, it's not my girlfriend. Thomas needs to reply to my text that. No, I don't. I'm not doing that. Chris has said, I'll get the ham out if you want, Tom. Yeah, you can do, Chris. That'll be fine. Cheers, Leonard. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to carry on. Chris is being blocked. I don't know why. But yeah, we'll move on. I think there's one more question. It's from Mingy Wong, and then I'll get into some of your questions in the comments. Haaland or Mbappe? For me, it's a very tough one. That is. For me, that is a very, very tough one. I'd probably say Haaland, based on the fact that I'd want him at the club. You have to look at that. 25 goals in 25 appearances for Dortmund. You have to look at how good he is. He's only 20 years old, 6'4", a lot of pace. And it is very, very rare that you find someone like that who's got so many skills. He's already won Golden Boy at his age, and to do that is unreal. He got the record. I think he was the joint top scorer of a young under-20 international in the Champions League. So he won the Golden Boy. So yeah, I'd like to see what you guys think in the comments. So either comment Mbappe or Haaland, and then we can sort of make an overlying sort of judgment on that. The Sachin says Mbappe. Leonard says Haaland, like me. It's one of them. I'm not saying that Mbappe isn't class, because he absolutely is. He won a World Cup at 20 years old, and he's playing for one of the best clubs in the world as PSG. So, and playing with Neymar. So it's not necessarily that I don't think he's good. I just personally believe that I'd prefer Haaland over Mbappe in general. So yeah, they're all the questions complete from the community tab. So I'm going to start getting in to all your comments now. So get your questions in. We've got about another 25 minutes before I'm probably going to start wrapping things up. So yeah, get your questions in. Anything. It can be about City, football, how I am with City, or your favourite moments, whatever. Ask me anything. I'll answer the majority that I can. Who we got here? Michael, here we go. Thanks, Tom, for reading all my comments out. You're very welcome. I appreciate all the nice comments that you also put in there too. Yeah, thank you for the comments and the questions. I really appreciate it. And yeah, you're supporting City like my dad since 1981, and he always says that 1981 Cup final with Ricky Villa always broke his heart. So it's one thing that you do have in common. Let's have a look at these. What's Ghosty Grade saying here? Fave words, Tom. Cancelo is the best. Is a beast. Carl Messi pays for himself. Chris Leroy, Andy Garbage, Martin Lone Foden, Buddy, and Alan Unique laugh. To be fair, that's probably about right. Brilliant. Scott Williams says, Tom, who at the academy will make it in the first team? It's very tough to judge the academy. If I was to sort of pick one from now, I'd probably say Tommy Doyle. I really do think that he's probably going to, get in there and, just to show his class. You've Fernandinho's obviously going to probably be leaving in the next year or so. Hopefully he gets that extra contract like I talked about earlier, the extra year. But overall, I'd probably see him coming in first because, other positions are sort of placed well. I do think that, he can drop in that CDM and maybe sort of be guided by Rodri in the end. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I'd like to see Tommy Doyle come in. Favourite City game, Charlie Everett says. My favourite City game, poor. A lot of people will say, a lot of people for me, I'd say 93-20. It was the first time we had a chance to win the Premier League. It was the first chance that, I'd got a chance to see someone win the Premier League. And yeah, overall, I was just so happy that day. I remember when Aguero scored, I didn't really know how to feel. I had this Jester's hat on, as a lot of the people around me will remember the famous Jester's hat that went down to Wembley, and I've still got now. And as you saw in a vlog a few months back, it went over my face, and I don't know why. I cried for like 10 seconds and then put it back on and just started celebrating again. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, it was a bit of emotions and, nerves and the happiness that we just won the first Premier League title in that style. But yeah, it has to be 93-20 for me. Yeah, right, Theo, another good mate of mine. Hope you're well, mate, and the family. So yeah, just likewise, Theo, the 93-20 moment, mate, it's just unreal with Aguero. Made me so happy. Mendy out, Mark O'Shea says. For me, it's one of them with Benjamin Mendy. We don't really know what's going on. Do we know if he's happy at the club? Do we know if Pep's happy with him? Time will tell with that man. He's not exactly been in the good books recently in the press and within fans in general after the lockdown breaches that he made. But with Benjamin, when he's played okay. But we still need to see a little bit more form from him because he's starting to struggle a little bit. But we'll see with Benjamin. Who knows? Let's go. Blue Moon. Hope you're well. What is your favourite goal whilst you've been watching City? Based on the fact of the moment and the actual goal in itself, I'd probably have to say Vinny's against Leicester 2 seasons ago. Just how we bulleted that into the top corner. Obviously, where I sit in 316, we could see directly as it curved in straight into the top corner, and that by far is the best goal I've seen as a City fan. Unbelievable, and I went absolutely crazy. Although saying that, on the other side, Andros Townsend's goal against us at the Etihad in the same end was an absolute thunderbolt too. So, there's good goals for each side. So, but Vincent Kompany's was unreal. City Chippy says, which is my dad. What does Dad say? Should we sign up Ben Aguero now to make sure no one else gets him in the future? I'm pretty sure that Serge would probably, if he gets the chance, want him to play at City. Look at the legacy he's made. So if his son can come and play for us and have some sort of impact like he did, that'd be such a nice moment to see. Maybe Ben might break his goal record. Who knows? Let's see how Ben obviously turns out. He's obviously got some potential though. His dad's Aguero, his godfather's Lionel Messi, and his granddad was the late great legendary Diego Maradona. So, he's got a lot of potential there. So who knows? Hopefully we can get him. Let's have a look. Luke Schofield, he says, who is your favourite player that has ever played for City? He was looking really. He was really really well. And yeah. Am I back on now, guys? Can you hear me? Yeah. Did you hear me talk about Giovanni? Can somebody just put it in the comments and then I'll just repeat that. Just somebody put yes or no if you heard me talking about the favourite City player. There you go. Did anybody hear me talk about Giovanni? Because I'll just carry it on. Yeah, I can hear you. Good. Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, Giovanni, it was his birthday the other day, and he replied back to me saying, "Hope you're well. I hope your family's well." So he replied back to me because he's a very good player, Giovanni. I loved watching him play, and he was very good. Sorry about that, guys. I must have just knocked it. It's on a little thing here, so I must have just knocked it a little bit. So I do apologise about that. Let's have a look. Any more comments? Sean says, talking about that, favourite game I've been to was when we beat with 6-0. Yes, and the favourite game was yeah, unbelievable, wasn't it, Sean? Everybody has their individual games. High scoring games for City is not, it's brilliant. That's what we like to hear. But yeah, going back to that, Giovanni, absolute brilliant player. One of my favourite players of all time. Absolutely brilliant. Scored some beautiful goals for us. And yeah, always a down-to-earth guy. And obviously it was nice to get the response after I wished him happy birthday the other day. But yeah, do you think Man City will sign Haaland? JJ11 Jones says. I hope we do. There's a lot of competitors out there for him, because he's one of the best strikers in the world. But I do believe that we can be the front runners for him. We can offer him first team Premier League football. And yeah, fingers crossed we can go out there and show him. Show everybody that way we can make a statement. Kurt says, favourite player pre-takeover, Tom? Yes, absolutely brilliant. I agree with that. Yes, so Giovanni for me, like I said, yeah, just an unreal player. Albie Michael says, Mate, what do you think of the attack and the defence this season? I really do think that the attack is sort of just getting its way back in. Obviously, we haven't really scored many goals, but the defence, on the other hand, has been absolutely solid. I think it's been absolutely brilliant this season. We have to look at the problems we've had in the past. Defence has always been a problem, and now we're starting to get a solid defence. You just have to look at the celebrations after the Derby game. It's a team. It is a big, big team, and it's so nice to see. It's so nice to see. Diaz has come in, and it's been a boost to that defence, and it's been a boost to John Stones too, because John Stones has been absolutely brilliant this season, and I'm really happy for him. Sean says, "Find me makes mistakes." Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to. It will happen again. I'll make sure that I leave the sound bit there now. Ghosty Grade says, "Thoughts on Nasri as a City player, and have you seen Joe, the Brazilian forward?" Nasri, an absolutely brilliant player, let down a little bit by his attitude. We all know what attitude is, attitude and things like that, honestly. But yeah, I always loved Nasri. I really think he was a really good player for us. And in the end, he sort of faded out, sadly, and went on, on loan here and there. But he sort of could have turned into even a better player than he actually was. But yeah, and Joe, the Brazilian forward, I certainly have seen Joe. Wow. He didn't really play well for us, but he seems to have been playing all right, and he's still around. And, I remember when we played against Burnley away in the snow, and it was really bad. And I remember he played that game. But yeah, Joe, what a legend. Not a legend to us, but I'm sure he's a legend to many other people. Charlie Everett says, favourite away day. For me, it was when we went to Germany, me and a few of the guys, my dad and the guys who we sit with, and we went to watch Hoffenheim away. It was sort of one of my first experiences of a European away day, and honestly, it was one of the best trips of my life. Going on the plane with all your City fans, you all turn, you're chanting, you're enjoying it, and then you arrive in a foreign country, welcomed very nicely by the Germans. I must say. And in the end, coming back with that 2-1 win with a David Silva last-minute winner, it was very nice and a really good trip. It'll be definitely one that I remember for the majority of my life. Anyway, it was absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look. Jack Lee says, Sean Gota for me. Yeah, I definitely agree. Sean, he was a very, very good player, I must say. Let's have a look. Yeah. 10 minutes to... there you go. 10 minutes to go. So, yeah, get your final questions in, guys, and I'll try and get through as many as I can quickly. Are you doing a collab with City Extra? No, I'm not, unfortunately. City Extra is a great place. They're good people, They give us all the good information on Instagram, Twitter, and everything. So, yeah, they're a very good team of lads over there. But, yeah. What is my proudest moment as a City fan? There's a lot. There's a lot. Do you have to seem to go? I'll answer that one in a minute. Proudest moment as a City fan was probably when we beat Liverpool about 2 seasons back now, when we beat them 2-1. I was so proud of how every single fan turned up with the same mentality. You turned up and everybody wanted us to win. And Gary Neville quoted, it was one of the best atmospheres he'd ever seen in a stadium. And that just made me feel so proud that we turned up that night and we got the 3 points as well as the players. We turned up, the players knew that we were ready for it, and we got the 2-1 win and a high-flying Liverpool side. And from that point, we didn't lose a game, which just shows, the true fight that we showed, and the noise that we made, the celebrations were just amazing. And that is the proudest moment as a City fan. It's just unbelievable. As a City fan, it's just real. So yeah, that was probably one of the proudest moments. I felt proud going into school the next day after that, that's for sure. Especially with all the Liverpool fans that were good and the same we'd lose before, that's for sure. Do you have to be a season ticket holder to go on a City away game? Not necessarily, I don't think, Charlie. Obviously, I don't know myself, but I know you can look at different things. I think there's sort of supporters clubs and sometimes ticket exchanges and stuff like that. But yeah, we can see. He says, would you sign Plea or Thuram from Gladbach? They're doing bits for them. They certainly are. I think they're 2 very good players, but it just depends on who we get to what we sort of do, and we have to look at different things. But I wouldn't mind them. They're two very good players. You are correct, Baraf. Yeah, they do very well over there. And, who knows? Young talents. Let's see what happens with them. Leonard says, Tom, will we be having an FNS? And you were born to do this. Keep it up. Cheers. Thank you, Leonard. I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, obviously about a mute situation. It's a good job that I have you guys in the comments, or I could have been going on with mutes all the time. mcfcfantv, calm down, Leonard. We'll be out of jobs all, and I won't be taking any of the jobs. The guys have given me the opportunity, so we work as a team on this channel. So yeah, it's just great to be part of the team. Kurt says, as you're a keeper, Tom, do you find yourself being more harsh on keepers' performances or more understanding? It's not hard. When I criticised Edison that time, it wasn't me being harsh. It was just the fact that when you're a keeper yourself, you look at the different situations, and you're like, at amateur level, you get told all these different basics of football. Especially, it's different as a keeper. You have to be a different breed to be a keeper. It's a little bit of a crazy position. But we'll see. We'll see. You look at different players, different keepers, and they have different technical abilities. I am harsh. I am harsh on a lot of keepers, because you look at them and you look up to them, and some of them are different technically. Are different, with the feet, different with the hands, the agility. It's one of them. I wouldn't say I'm too harsh on them, but I'd like to have a little bit of criticism because, I learned the stuff, so I can't see why they don't do it, sort of thing, if you get what I mean from that, Kurt. But yeah, I've now turned into sort of a centre-back now, as a lot of the lads who might be on the channel at the moment in the comments who play my football team might suggest that I'm probably a better centre-back than a keeper at the moment, scoring 2 goals in 4 games and stuff like that. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, as a keeper for many years, 11 years nearly, I do find myself being a little bit too harsh maybe sometimes, but also because I understand quite a lot, I do like to sort of judge it on errors I've made as well. Let's have a look. I'll be Michael. I answered that one earlier, mate. I think Stefan's a very good keeper, and I think he's one of the best second keepers in the league by far, and he definitely can push on for the first team spot. Would you sign Messi? Yes, I would. I would definitely sign Messi. I think he's a very, very good player. Let's just see what happens with that. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, we'll see. Let's have a look what we've got in here. Sean Fogarty. Tom, who do you think is City most underrated player? There's a few. There is a few. I would probably have to say, it's hard because, I'd probably have to give it to, I'm not going to say Cancelo before anybody starts. It's tough. I'd probably say Foden because, his age, I think he's been underrated. People having doubts on whether he's actually good enough or not. I probably would have to go with Phil on that one. Yes, I totally agree with that. Great night when we beat Liverpool. It was a brilliant night, Michael, wasn't it? The atmosphere was unreal. Let's have a look. Who else we got in here? Ghost Degrades. Tom, did you see the longest kick for the Guinness Book of World Records? Yes, I did. A few seasons back now, wasn't it? Yeah, he absolutely smashed that up the pitch and got the world record. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with getting that because he's a great, great keeper. Kurt's left back himself. Well, who knows, Kurt? If we make a Man City Fan TV 5-a-side team, you can go left back, I can go centre back, and we'll have to get that sorted out maybe. Chris says, Tom's a keeper, safe pair of hands. Well done, time, mate. You've done great. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, mate. I try and have safe pair of hands. My safe pair of hands switched off my mute button, so they're a bit too safe. That must be said. Oh, Andy's done him here in the changing rooms. Kurt left back in the changing rooms. He's putting out all the good ones tonight. That is. Who else we got? Abdi Mohammed says, Tom, do you think Sterling's off form? I wouldn't necessarily say he's off form. He's just not. You have to have a look. He's not really. It's one of hard. It's hard. Because he's such a good player, you don't really know if he's off form or on form. And at the moment, I'd probably just say, because he hasn't played that much, he's probably just not really had time to sort of, get back into it. And, when he comes on as well, it's one of them. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say he's off form. I reckon he's just hit a rough patch, Abdi. I say, Tom, when you take over Man City Fan TV, what would be your greatest memory of Martin? Well, I wish that was the first question, because I'd have probably been here for about 10 minutes trying to think about it. There's a lot. Probably when he said Colo Torre was was better than Jolly and Lescott on an FNS, and then Chris's reaction was priceless. Martin's had a few good moments, but yeah, I think probably my best moment, I have to give a positive moment for Martin here, was when we scored the second goal against Madrid in the semi-final, in the Champions League quarterfinals, and it was the funniest celebration. Martin's watch-alongs when he scores, he's just unreal, because it's just like I am when I'm celebrating. It just shows passion. So yeah, Martin celebrating our goals when they're at an important point is just the best and the funniest thing I've ever seen. And carry on doing it, Martin. And plus, with the games being more tight now, he celebrates far more than he would have done. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look. Scott Williams says, big respect to Andy, Martin, Chris for giving proper blues like Tokyo fat form. Well, chance. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Yeah, the guys have done really well. I appreciate everything that they've done for me. When I first met Andy outside the Etihad, outside the program stand, he asked me about this is how it started. He asked me about a program and if I bought a program, and then I went and asked him, oh, what will that be on? And I said, Man City Fan TV. And I was like, oh, really? And then from there, he asked me to do a post-match fan cam with him, with my uncle Derek, who was up from Bristol at the time. And from there, it sort of flew off. I was doing fan cams left, right, and centre at every game I could possibly get to, the home games and stuff. And yeah, there was from a little moment like that when you didn't expect it. I probably wouldn't have seen Andy if I didn't turn up early that day, because we were showing my uncle around the ground. And from then it sort of shooted off. And here I am in front of 52 people talking about City, my favourite club, my only club, and speaking to some great people. So yeah, it's been great. So yeah, thank you to the guys. We're just going to finish off. Let's just do. I think there's three more comments here, and then I'm probably going to start wrapping it up a little bit. Alec Johnson says, better than TV this. I try my best. Maybe we could go for the National Television Awards at some point. We can definitely go for it. Abdi says, Tom, do you think Pep has a good team to reach the final of the Champions League? Yes, I believe so. The defence is unreal now. I really do think that was the sort of one of the problems, was the defence. They won the part that was going to stop us, getting further. That was always the debate, and it did in the end. So yeah, I do believe that we can get to the final. I think he does have a good team to get there, 100%. Sean says, Tom, great first live vlog. You were great. Stay safe to you and your family. Likewise, Sean, thank you for coming on and thank you for your questions, mate. I really do appreciate it. Here he is. A bit late now, Matty lad. Big up my boy, Tom. Good man. I hope you're well and the family's all good, mate. You can. Scott says, you can tell I'm a dinosaur. Thought that was brilliant. Kurt says, smashed it tonight, Tom. Can't wait for the next one, mate. Yeah. Hopefully we're back next Thursday. Well, I don't know what I'll be doing yet, but I'm sure I'll let you know at some point what I'll be doing and what will be happening. Jack Lee says, well done, Tom. You smashed it. I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I come on here, I try my best, and it's worked really well. So I'm really happy that everybody's enjoying it. And hopefully we can make this a regular thing. Every Thursday, you have me in front of you talking about City and talking about different experiences I've experienced being a City fan. And we can talk about anything. You guys in the comments, leave what you'd like me to talk about next week, and then we can sort of, work it off you guys as well, because that's what I want to do. I want to interact with you guys as well, because it obviously me being obviously solo on here, I might get some guests on it time to time, but I'd like to obviously see what you'd want me to talk about, because different people and different things, and maybe we can sort of make some ideas out of it, so we can see what we can do. Like Johnson says, got a feeling. I hope so. I really do hope so. That'd be absolutely brilliant. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it. I'd like to see both. I'd like to see both. How good would that be? What a star. Brilliant debut. Well done, Tom. Give a thumbs up to everybody. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. I come on here. It was a bit nerve wracking at the beginning, but I obviously got myself into it and handled it well. The lucky flat caps come back in. Martin has his lucky blue glass. There we go. And I have my lucky blue cap. So it works both ways. It's the blue that counts. That's for sure. Luciate says that was entertaining, Tom. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. And finally, we're going to finish with Alec Johnson. Who is your favourite City player ever? For me, I'd probably between Aguero and Vincent Kompany, based on the fact that they're both leaders and both legends of the clubs. So yeah, it'd be them for me. And Yorkshire, of course, it's Yorkshire. That's what we like to hear. We got to love a bit of Yorkshire. But yeah, if I did miss any of your comments out tonight, I do apologise. I tried to get through as many as possible. So we tried our best, and I think I got through the majority of them. But yeah, check out the Friday Night Social tomorrow night with the guys. They've got some special people coming on, so make sure you check it out. But for me, that is it tonight. I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody stayed safe. If you're in the UK watching this with the snow, and obviously I hope you all stayed safe. And hopefully we'll be back. We definitely will be back next Thursday, hopefully. And we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, or I could maybe bring on something else. So yeah, that's it from me tonight. I hope everybody is okay. Thank you, Theo. Hope you're well, mate. So yeah, thank you, everybody. This is my debut. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. I've tried my best, and yeah, all the best, guys. Take care, and make sure you give it a like and always subscribe to us, because we give you content near enough every day, and we're trying our best. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of my debut. So yeah, hope everybody takes care, and take care, guys.